Can I have my slides, please? In the words of Albert Einstein, a picture is worth 1,000 words, they say. And when the words becomes unclear to express, it's the photograph which can make the expression clear. It's also said that it's the only language which can be understood anywhere in the world. Good morning and welcome. I'm Dr. Arun Kshetrapal and I welcome you all to our course on mastering ophthalmic photography and videography. Before I start my course, I'd like to acknowledge that most of the images are original and they have been clicked by the presenter himself. Few images have been taken from the internet and I have no financial interest in any of the matter presented. Let me introduce my instructors. Dr. Satish Sheth, he will be talking about mastering the subtle art of microscope videography. He has developed video capturing devices and he has developed on his own lot of things for microscope DSLR cameras. Dr. Shishir Agarwal, he'll be talking about how to become proficient in fundus photography and unveiling the significance of ultra-wide photography. Dr. Suvin Bhattacharjee, he's a recipient of CS Reshmi Award and he'll be talking about the uncovering the craft of video editing and popular video editing software. I'm Dr. Arun Kshetrapal and I'll be talking about slit lamp photography. Ophthalmic imaging has changed dramatically in recent past. New sophisticated ways of acquiring images are now available with us, and this change has been possible because of the newer digital cameras coming in, the speed of processing becoming more and more increase in the speed of processing, and more space available for storage of data both locally and over the net. Ophthalmic imaging has played an important role in documentation and diagnosis of ophthalmic diseases and to record medical conditions. It has been used to track disease progression, teaching and patient monitoring as well. Just one word about history. In late 1800s, it was Jackman and Webster who described the technique of photographing the retina of a living human subject, and the next 50 years witnessed a slow advancement in instrumentation and techniques, probably because of the slow film speed, low exposures and inconsistent light sources. But with the advent of electronic flash and 35 mm photography in 1950s led to the era of modern photography. These are certain terms which I'll quickly go through it. Most of you know them, but just a bit. The focal length or a focal length of a lens is the distance between the nodal point of the lens system to the sensor or to the film, and it is denoted in millimeters. The wide angle lenses usually have a short focal length but a wide angle of view. On the other hand, telephoto lenses will have a long focal length but a narrow angle of view. Lens speed, it is the widest aperture or the light gathering power of the lens. It is expressed as f number. I'm not going into details because maybe we can discuss this later. Depth of the field, this is very important. In order to get the depth of the field, you need to decrease the aperture. The narrower the aperture, more is the depth, and the wider is the aperture, the depth of field will be less. But if your aperture is less, you will need more light on the sensor. So either you'll need a flash or you'll want to open your aperture for a longer period of time to gather the sufficient amount of light. Then the shutter speed, it is the speed at which the shutter opens and closes, and it is measured by fractions of second. So a fast moving object would require a faster shutter speed, whereas a slow moving object or say maybe a nighttime sky, you can use a slow shutter speed, but a stable hand of course. Next is sensor sensitivity. It is the ISO number or the sensitivity of the chip to the light. One must remember that higher you go in the ISO number, the chip can capture in a low light, but at the same time there will be grains appearing in the picture or there will be noise in the picture. Digital imaging chips, the images are captured on the chip, and basically there are 2 or 3 types of chip. One is the CCD, or the charge coupled device, another is the CMOS chip, or the complementary metal oxide semiconductor, and a Fovean chip, which has been there for almost last 20 years, and it's slowly and slowly catching up. Then again, there are different types of file formats. Then 3 main file formats I'll be talking about: RAW, TIFF, and JPEG. RAW is basically the data which comes out of the sensor after capturing the image. It is basically unprocessed data which needs to be processed to make it a picture. Whereas TIFF is an uncompressed file. It has a lot more information, and JPG is a compressed file. I'm not going into details because of the time. Now coming to the slit lamp photography. Basically, photography of eye would involve 2-3 things. One is the external photography. Another would be a smartphone slit lamp photography, which can be done with a bare hand, or which you can use adapters for support it. Then you can do it photography through beam splitter, or you can do there's an integrated beam splitter and camera incorporated into one device. So external photography is basically for the gross lesions of the lid or the conjunctiva, or you can do external photography for the ocular movements before you do your before you take the patient for the squint surgery. Coming to bare hand smartphone slit lamp photography. So what you do in this is the most basic type of photography, most crude type of thing to do. You just hold the smartphone in your hand and you focus the lesion with the slit lamp, and then you align your smartphone to the eyepiece again, and you hold it against the eyepiece, and then you click a photograph. So the advantage is that it does not require any extra adapter and no added equipment is required. But the disadvantage is that it requires a lot of practice to hold it steady, to center it. There's a learning curve in it, and images can sometimes be shaky and decentered, and there can be vignetting effects also. So just a small video of bare hand photography. What I'm doing is I'm holding the camera, and look how shaky it is. So if you even shake your camera by a millimeter, the images get shifted a lot because of the magnification factor. So you need real steady hands, or you need to stabilize your hand with something to click this photograph. Yesterday I was going through the exhibition and I came across this particular device. This device, it gets attached to the slit lamp. It is 3D printed, and then you attach a camera on this. So this device works as holding the camera, what your hand used to do, and this can be shifted out. It can be rotated out of the field, out of the eyepiece, and then can be brought back to the eyepiece. Then there are adapter supported smartphone photography. They can be of 2 types. The adapter can be fixed onto the eyepiece, or the adapter replaces the eyepiece. So this is just a homemade device. You can do it yourself or DIY. So you take any cap of maybe a soft drink bottle or a betadine hand wash bottle. You drill a hole in between this in the center, and just see that it fits over your eyepiece snugly. And then what you do, you apply a tape on this, the 2-side adhesive tape, which has an adhesive on both the sides. So one side you adhere it to the cap, and the other side you adhere to the camera of the slit lamp of the smartphone. And so you will have this cap sticking onto the smartphone, and if you look from the other side, it will look like this. And now you can just put this cap on the eyepiece, and the phone will be supported there, and you can click images. Again, this is a very gross, very crude sort of a device. So how do you capture images? You set up the patient at the slit lamp, instructing him or her to maintain a fixation and stay as still as possible and not to move the eyes. Look through both the eyepieces, center the image and adjust the slit beam, and just see that this is the proper frame you want to take. adjust the focus on the subject matter, and then determine which eyepiece is giving you the best picture, whether the right or the left, and then you align your smartphone camera lens with the eyepiece that will produce the best image. Another way is to use this sort of an adapter, which is available on Amazon, and it is, I think, less than 1,000 bucks. So this thing you can fix on the eyepiece, and this is the place to fix your iPhone. But with the new iPhones having multiple cameras, you need to determine which camera is there for this. So for this you need to do trial and error, or you can block different cameras with your finger and see which is the best camera for slit lamp photography for your particular camera. So once you have fixed this device, then you fix a smartphone over this. Then next, the adapter replacing the eyepiece. In this, you take out the eyepiece of the slit lamp, one of the eyepiece of the slit lamp, and this particular part goes into the eyepiece socket, and you can fix an iPhone, any smartphone over it. So this goes inside the eyepiece. The biggest disadvantage of this is that your eyepiece is blocked. You will have uniocular vision. Best is to do a slit lamp photography through a beam splitter. Beam splitter, as the name suggests, it splits the beam. So there is basically a glass sort of a thing with a variable transmission of the light. It can be coated according to what percentage of light you want to get transmitted or to get reflected. So a part of the light is reflected, which can go to the camera, and the part of the light is transmitted through this piece, which goes to your eyepiece. And then at the end of your beam splitter, either you can attach a DSLR camera or a smartphone camera, or one of the 4K cameras which has recently been developed by Dr. Kankariya sir. In the end, maybe sir, if you can enlighten us about your recent 4K camera and where it will go. So it will be for the benefit of the audience here. So basically a beam splitter sits between the optics of the slit lamp and the eyepiece, and it has a place for putting up either a video camera or a DSLR or a smartphone, and of course it has a ring to fine focus the image. So this is how it looks without an eyepiece. Either you can attach a CCD camera, or you can attach a smartphone over it. This device is by Remedio. I have no financial interest in this. This is just for demonstration. They have a beam splitter and a smartphone fixed to this device, and then you can attach a DSLR camera as well over it, over the slit lamp, over the beam splitter. So here is the beam splitter, and there you need an adapter to convert that image, which is or to the rings or to the place where the optics or the lens of the lens is fitted onto the body of the camera. So this is an adapter, and there are many different forms of adapters available for different cameras. Camera can be incorporated into the beam splitter itself, and it fits in between the optics, again in between the optics of slit lamp and the eyepieces, and it is a more compact way of doing it. This is the eyepiece and this is the optics, and here the camera fits in. So this is the camera. This is by Appa and this is by Topcon. So here is the again the optics of the slit lamp and the eyepiece, and this is the camera. Coming to the different forms of illumination, you can take a picture in a direct illumination or a diffuse illumination or an indirect illumination or scleral scatter, even retro illumination. So a direct illumination would be where your light beam goes directly onto the lesions you want to photograph, so highlighting that lesion. So this is the direct illumination. Or diffuse illumination will be where you don't have a slit beam and the diffuse light illuminates the whole of the eye. And then indirect illumination, wherein the light falls onto the iris and the reflected light from the iris would illuminate or will define the object you want to focus on. So here if you can appreciate that there is a very small foreign body, so the light is here, it is falling onto the iris, and this foreign body is being illuminated by the light which is coming from the iris. Then there is a scleral scatter wherein you focus the light onto the limbal junction between the sclera and the cornea, and the whole of the cornea gets illuminated. And of course then there is a retroillumination, like, or a coaxial illumination. Then there is one more concept of background illumination. You see the difference between these two images. This image has been taken without any background illumination, wherein only the slit beam is visible and it's not producing a very good image, whereas this image has been taken with a background illumination, wherein you can see the other structures of the light as well as the structure which I want to highlight, the anterior capsular cataract. So this can be achieved in many ways. You can have a extra source of light fitted onto your slit lamp. So besides the slit beam, if you open this aperture, there will be an extra light falling onto the mirror of the slit lamp, which will be get reflected. So if you look from the down, so the slit beam is coming from here and the diffuse illumination light is coming from this point of time. This will get blocked if I move this particular piece on this side. So this is one of the way to get a background illumination. The other can be, you can attach a LED light onto your slit lamp for background illumination. You can purchase these LED lights from Amazon, and then you can have a light diffuser installed onto your in front of your mirror. These are the diffuser which comes with the slit lamp. If you don't have a diffuser, don't worry, you can use butter paper, and you can cut a slit in that and apply the butter paper here, and the light will be you'll have a background illumination, a diffuse illumination. So this is diffuser applied in front of the mirror, and this is without the diffuser. And this is a photo taken with a diffuser in front of the mirror. So in conclusion, slit lamp photography has emerged as an invaluable tool in ophthalmic diagnostics and documentation. It enables clinicians to capture detailed images of the anterior segment of the eye, and as technology continues to advance, we can anticipate further enhancements in the imaging quality and accessibility. Thank you for your patient listening. Yes, Dr. Shah, please. Sorry? Yes, they are either the beam splitter is either in the front of the right eyepiece or in the front of the left eyepiece.
At present,
Most of them are the left or the right? Right. I have two slit lamps by Topcon, and both of them they have a beam splitter focus in the right eye. Yeah. Yeah, my right, but patient's left. Yeah.
whole thing, what you are seeing on the screen is never seen by the eye. Because the reason is, except Harkstraight, I think, most of them are on the non-dominant eye. That is what they want, because the maximum light should go into the dominant eye.
Yes.
So what you are seeing today on a slit lamp is never seen on there. You have to move it in such a way that your vision gets blurred, but that side is good. So what we need is a device where we can interchange it.
Okay.
At present we don't.
I think that would be that's a wonderful idea.
We don't have. At present we don't have.
Yeah. So if it can be something like DSLR mirror cameras, wherein when you click, the beam splitter comes in front of the both eye and goes away. Can think on those terms.
Because we do not get that quality of pictures. When we see something, is usually not
seen on the screen.
Except Harkstraight.
Yeah.
But it is very expensive. It is around 20 lakhs.
20 lakhs, yes.
I tried to change the system, but they said you need to change the whole hardware if you want to go from left to the right.
Right.
And I have both of them, and I found that the right side, because 90% of the people are right dominant, and when you keep the beam splitter on the right dominant, your amount of light entering into the right eye, which is the dominant eye, reduces. That's why they kept it on the opposite side.
So, as far as I remember, I have two photo slit lamps by Topcon, and in both of them, it's the right eye which has the. I'll just confirm it. I'll still confirm it.
Sir, I want to add something.
Yes, sir.
So, since we made a DSLR adapter, it can be adapted to the right or to the left.
Okay. So
no issues, no issues. But only thing is, we need to have a beam splitter which has got 2 ports. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you have got 2 ports, we already made 2 ports. We already provided a couple of adapters to people. So it is their choice which dominant eye, which is their dominant eye. If they are comfortable with the right, they can use it for the right or for the left. And we have been able to do the imaging with
imaging
that.
better.
Yeah. So even mobile adapters are also available, which are quite handy.
Yeah.
So that also can be moved between right and left, because if you have got a mobile adapter, it can rotate by 360 degrees.
Yes.
So whichever direction you want, you can fix it, and right and left is not an issue now. We can handle it.
Satish sir, we start with your presentation, and we'll take all these questions in the end.
Yes.
Yes. Can we switch over to the other podium, please? Audio visual, please, sir. Yeah. Thank you.
I wish to thank Dr. Arun Kshetrapal sir, and at the outset I wish to welcome you all for this meeting. So this is the IC, this is a flyer what was made by Arun Kshetrapal sir, very nicely made flyer. And so this is my financial disclosure. So I became an accidental entrepreneur because I had to make solutions for myself. So all this started when I went to American Academy in 2016. I happened to see a 4K Panasonic camera there in one of the stalls, and it was costing $10,000. So I would never buy that kind of camera in my lifetime. So I had to think of some simple solutions. So when DSLRs were available and able to give the same quality of imaging, I thought, why not make something out of this? So when I came back home, I used a simple trial set to add the lenses and get to the focus of a Panasonic DSLR camera, by which I could succeed. And then when I approached the industry, I could get an adapter. And when I presented my first presentation in an ISMS conference, I not only got an award, I got orders for five units on the same at the end of the meeting. That's when my idea to commercialize came into this thing. So just like all these YouTubers and all this thing, I just want you to subscribe to me. And so why do we have to take these pictures, and why do we want to document? Main thing is we want to retain the memories whenever we meet people. And this was the image taken at DreamCon at Mumbai. So if you want to relook the images that you have taken in the past, so you need to have a documentation. So why are we not documenting our work, where we have spent all our energies throughout our lifetime and to become a perfect surgeon? So what is perfection now? So why do we need it? So one is to document one's work, to contribute for professional meetings, for medical legal purpose, to teach and to learn. So we have got different types of cameras here. Why should we learn? One is that you become a better surgeon. So when you go and review your surgeries, you will definitely be able to analyze your mistakes, and you will not be committing the same mistakes again. So these are the traditional cameras that we were using earlier. They were called CCD cameras, or the charged coupled device. Okay. Now you are getting a very high-end HD cameras at almost a very nominal cost. And this is the common mindset of the people, that whenever we put a camera, simply you start recording, like fill it, shut it and forget it, or a ready mix which is there where you can make your idli batter and just eat right away. That is not the way that we can record our surgeries. We need to have little expertise. I do not say that you need to be a good photographer or videographer or learn some course in videography. You just have to understand some basic things. So this is how the basic unit looks. So you can see the C-mount camera there, a C-mount and a beam splitter. And these are the 3 simple components that is there. And people always get confused about these things. Sometimes they get confused with the C-mount and they tell that that is a beam splitter. and a beam splitter is confused to C mount. So, sorry. Yeah. So beam splitter we have got two types. We prefer to use, sorry, why it's running? Yeah. 80-20 we prefer basically for anti-segment, because 80% of the light is transmitted and it comes to the surgeon, whereas 20% is reflected to the camera. That's why for anti-segment recording you do not require a beam splitter which is 50-50. So 50-50 is ideally preferred for a posterior segment recording, and this DSLR adapter is nothing but a modified C mount. Why it's called modified C mount is because C mount was called Cinemount when the Hollywood movies were made in that mount. So it replaces the conventional C mount. And mirrorless DSLR, we have got so many versions, so many companies, but still I would prefer a Sony and a Panasonic in this segment. And there's one more camera called Blackmagic Pocket Camera. So the connecting cables are of HDMI 2, where you will be able to record in a very high quality, like especially like 4K. You will be able to transmit the images very easily through this HDMI 2 cable. And memory card will have certain specifications that I'll be dealing shortly. So now Dr. Kakade sir is here. He is one of the great innovators that the world has seen, and he has made one C-mount. It's not a C-mount based device. It's a very small camera, just a 30-gram camera. You can see there on the left side there, which is mounted onto the beam splitter, and on the other side we have got the existing C-mount system. So this is the ESC camera, which has got a Sony sensor, which is HD camera, which costs just about 25 to 30,000 rupees. And the people who are already using old CCD cameras, it is high time now that they can replace such cameras with this camera and get equal good quality of recording. So these are the different settings that you can have with the help of a remote that you can use it. And so why should we go from full HD to HD, Ultra HD? So there's a wow factor there. So the quality of imaging that you are going to get will be definitely much of a better quality. And I always recommend people that if you have got time and patience, you always try to record the videos in the highest quality. So if you have recorded in 4K, it doesn't mean that you have to go and present it in 4K, because 4K projectors are still not available on any of the international meetings so far. So by the time the technology develops, then probably one day you may be able to have 4K projectors for you to project. Till such time, you can downgrade your existing 4K recordings into a full HD. And there are so much of literature is there about the mirrorless recordings. And these are the different resolutions of the 4K that you have. So you should know with what kind of 4K that you are going to record. So don't listen to microscope personnel who will not only misguide you, they are made to advertise their own products, and they will give very bad opinion about the third-party manufacturers. So don't worry about that. And now India is a Vishwaguru, so we have to be self-dependent. So government is giving so much of subsidies and startup facilities, so you can develop your own techniques. And a person like Dr. Kakade sir, he would not require any of these startup this. And what is the basic homework that you need to do when you want to start a recording system? So this is how. So here, when you want to buy a camera, you need not simply just go and buy a camera. So always you should look for this quality of a camera when you are going to buy. First is the sensors of a mirrorless camera. It has got a rating. So there's a website by name DxO Mark. So what they see is the ISO range, the dynamic range, the color space, and as the sensor rating is higher, the camera cost automatically increases. But they are definitely economical than CCD cameras and the current medical grade cameras, because medical grade cameras are made in very small quantity. That's the reason the costs go up. Whereas commercial DSLRs, they are made in few millions. So that's the reason, because they're commercial DSLRs, the cost comes down. So always you have to remember about this exposure triangle of ISO, shutter speed and aperture. So as the ISO increases, the brightness increases, and as the shutter speed decreases, the brightness increases. So aperture here, we do not have much role of aperture here, because the DSLR cameras, once it's a mirrorless camera which is mounted on a DSLR or a C-mount adapter, we do not have an aperture there. So these are the picture profiles on any camera that you see. So standard, vivid, natural, monochrome. So each has got a particular advantage. So wherever you need lower saturation and contrast, or wherever you need increased saturation and contrast, you have to shift to those modes and then do the recordings. So these are the different file formats that you have got: AVCHD, MPEG-4, so MOV files. So all these files, once they are recorded, you can process it into any other file. It can be converted anytime. And what is important is that you should know about the frame rate of your region, because there in certain parts of the world you have got NTSC, or in certain parts you have got PAL. So they are in different distribution method also, 24p, 30p, 60p, and the style of your recording also, that is the frames per second. So these are the standard this thing that you get on any of your DSLRs now. So you just have to make some adjustments. So these are different say crop factors that are available in many of these cameras. So I'm just giving some specifications on Sony A7S2. So what are the advantages of a DSLR over CCD? So CCD is almost getting obsolete now. So let us not discuss about anything about DSLR versus CCD. We can only think of DSLR versus C-mount cameras. So they have got large sensors, high resolution, extensive dynamic range. I'll just discuss about what do you mean by the extensive dynamic range and light sensitivity. So, and one thing important is that you should know what card you are going to buy. You cannot simply go to a shop and buy one memory card and start shooting your surgeries, because when you are recording the surgeries in a very high quality, they should have these specifications there, what you are seeing, say class 3, SDXC and 10, whatever those numbers are there, they are very, very important. And what is important is the write speed. The write speed should be more than 90 MB per second. Only then your say video will be streamlined well. And read speed is not that important, but write speed is very, very important. So these are the different cards that are available in the market. So this is an external recorder where you can record the videos by an external HDMI source other than the internal recording. But at present, there is a limitation for recording 4K in an external recorder. 4K can be recorded only on the internal memory card and not on this external recorder. Some few external recorders are available now in the market, but they are too expensive, somewhere close to 70-75K. So here, simultaneously, you can record 4K in the internal memory card and in full HD in Evermedia or Atomos Ninja. So what HDMI cables that you should prefer? So these are the different types of HDMI cables available for 4K, high speed with internet, without Ethernet. And when you are recording in a higher frame rate, you know, something like Ultra HD, what you want to record, that is at 60 frames per second or 120 frames per second. That's why these kind of HDMI cables are preferred. I'll just show you how does it help. So now there are so many disadvantages of DSLR that people say. So, but I did not understand anything about this, and I think even you will not understand. So just go for simple solutions, what is available, and we can have very good quality recording. So this is the way the attachment is made. So this has been, at our institute we have got a Visu 140 microscope. Anybody can simply mount this. All that you need to fit is a beam splitter and then mount a C-mount and DSLR camera. So you have got finger touch options there where you can record, you can choose what style and what format you want to record. And then comes the dynamic range. What do you mean by dynamic range? So imagine there is a picture taken with two cameras there, and you see the contrast on the other side. See where you want to see the greenery there and the sky simultaneously. So it doesn't match well. So skies are highlighted and these are the shadows. So eye has got a very, very high dynamic range. That's the reason your eye is able to capture this. And here, if you have a good camera, which will have, see the camera A has got capacity to highlight both the dark and the light areas. And an average DSLR will have this much of dynamic range, whereas human dynamic range is much wider. So this is the image taken from a mobile phone, Xiaomi M5, and you see the dynamic range difference between this and a Canon 5D Mark III camera. So when an image is, say video is taken at say 30 frames per second, okay, if you imagine watching a TV and a TV anchor speaking to you, so the recordings are done at about 30 frames per second. So you have got option of reducing the frames per second to about 24 to 25, which has got a very cinematic look. That's why many of the photographers, they like to do the recordings at 24 or 25 frames per second. So when a 25 or 30 frames per second image is played, this is how it looks. So a camera, see this is at the 30 frames per second, whereas the shutter speed is at about 1/100th of a second. So you will be able to see the fine movements in a say slow motion.
Satish, thoda sa fast.
Yes. Yeah, this is the video by Dr. Deepak Megur, where he has recorded the world's fastest Argentinian flag sign. That's what he claims. So this was possible only by a good quality recording. So on a 30 frames per second, if you have got a 4K video, so that plays like this. And the same video, if it is played at when it is recorded at 120 frames per second, and if it is played at 30 frames per second, this is how it will start appearing in a slow motion. So if you want to record in higher frame rate, you should be able to play in the same frame rate. That's very, very important. Whereas in post-production, if you want to do any kind of correction, the image becomes choppy, and this is how it looks. So you should always follow the 180-degree rule, where the frame rate should be equal to double the shutter speed. So this is universally needed for photography, not for videography, but for videography also you can keep the same settings. So these are the two cameras I was suggesting, Sony A7S II. The advantage is that this camera was mounted on International Space Station. That's the reason it has got very good low light sensitivity. So this is the video that has been shot. This is a raw video. So whatever videos are being shown to you by the presenters, they are all post-processed. They are not the original videos what they have already shot. So this is the original footage of the video taken by a surgeon. You see there is gross decentration there. Okay, most of the lid is covering. So you need an assistant there, a trained assistant who can guide you when your recording is going on, so that your image is centered, and instead of wasting time later on and losing out on most of the information, better that you center your surgery while the surgery is going on. Look for the decentration, look for the defocus. See, now the image has been centered. So retinal surgery is a different ball game altogether. So this was the video that we recorded with Dr. Natarajan at Mumbai. So this is still the raw video and not the processed video. Later on this can be processed, and it can be still made to look much better. So, and you have got mobile adapters. They are again commercially available. Remedio and some other companies are making that. And we had given say slit lamp adapters in a teleophthalmology project through this ASC camera. So that has also been a very, very successful project. And now I would like, and I have got Suven Bhattacharjee here, who has given me a very good review about the adapter which we provided to him. And now I'm just going to show you, this is also an unprocessed video. So how you can enhance the video quality, so is by a device which Dr. Kakadia sir has made, and he has made at least nearly about 2,500 surgeons could save their money on upgrading their microscope. So equal good quality of imaging that you are able to get with the help of OmniGlow. So I think we can take this video at the end also. Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Satish, for an elaborate show on recording your videos through your microscopes. a deep knowledge into the beam splitters and different types of cameras. Now I invite upon Dr. Shishir Agarwal. He'll be talking about the ultra wide field fundus photography and how to become proficient in fundus photography. Dr. Shishir.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks, Dr. Arun, for enrolling me for this course. So now we delve a little into the posterior segment photography. I have no financial interests, and I have taken a few slides from KLB, Zeiss, Optos, Remedio, and Trinetra. So in fundus photography, we know the illumination and reflectance of the retina occurs through the common optical path, that is the pupil, and you do it through different color filters or through dyes for fluorescein angiography and ICG, indocyanine green angiography. So it's a fundus camera is a low power microscope with an attached camera. It's sort of a uniocular indirect ophthalmoscope. So normally an angle of 30 degree would give an image which is about 2.5 times larger than life. So normally the routine fundus camera, they give a view of about 45 degrees or so. And the newer ones which are coming in are the wide field ones. So just for comparison, we have this 20 degree, a 40 degree, and a 60 degree view. So in the fundus camera, we have a light generated either a viewing lamp or by an electronic flash, and this is projected onto the filters, and through this path it goes into the eye of the subject, returns back, and here it is captured, and we see the image as well. So we adjust the eyepiece and focus the fundus camera, and then the reticule is focused to give a very sharp image finally. We get good photographs. So the history, Dr. Arun told a bit about it, and so it was in mid 1800s and in late 1800s that this thing started developing. So we do a color photography where a white light is taken, and monochromatic where it could be blue, green, or red. So the basic principle is that the blue, it will take care of the epiretinal membranes of the superficial retina. Green will take care more of the inner retinal layers, and the red has more penetration, so it would do the choroid and the posterior, the outer retinal layers. So that is the basic principle. So red-free means a green light. So there would be a green filter, the red would be blocked, and so you usually do a red-free thing for the retinal pathologies. So fluorescein angiography, we know there is an excitation light and fluoresces a yellow light. Then indocyanine green, where an infrared diode laser is used, 805 nanometer is used. And stereo fundus photography, not much in use, but you take two photographs of the same thing in two slightly different angles, and you see through a 3D. So these are the traditional fundus cameras by Topcon, Canon, and others, and you typically have a 45-degree view in these. Trinetra is another one. They have this Forus fundus camera. So this, I have no financial interest in any of these products. So the company is Trinetra, and they have this Flora fundus camera. They mount this thing on your slit lamp mount. They remove the slit lamp and put it over there. Gives good photographs. It has angiography provision as well. Then you have these non-mydriatic fundus cameras now. No pupillary dilatation is required. It is comfortable to the patient. No sensitivity to light. It is less time consuming. There are more accurate pictures. It is cost effective. Smartphone photography, as Dr. Arun and Dr. Seth had told. And then telemedicine is possible for screening purposes. So Remedio is one which supplies these type of cameras. So it is a handheld one, can be mounted onto the slit lamp as well. Right. And now they have come up with two more cameras, 5.0 and 1.5. I was seeing yesterday, they launched yesterday. So 5.0 is a normal full fundus camera, tabletop. And 1.5 is through small pupils for screening purposes. And gives good photographs. So next thing, the new thing is the ultra wide field retinal imaging. So perhaps what indirect ophthalmoscopy did for retina in the times of direct is what this is doing probably to the normal fundus images. The wide field has much bigger view and a wider view, a bird's eye view, and you can see the peripheral pathology. So wide field is, it goes on from 45-50 degrees up till 100 degrees, and ultra wide field is up till 200. So the newer definition being, if you can see those all 4 vortex vein ampullae and beyond, then it is ultra wide field, and less than that is wide field. So more than 80% of the retina you can see through these, and through small pupils. You can make out the peripheral vasculature and the other peripheral lesions. So there are many advantages. There is an enhanced resolution, a shorter image processing time, faster acquisition. So many advantages for small pupils, for non-compliant young adults, pediatric patients. So it has many advantages, and it has this CSLO system, confocal scanning laser system. So we have in the market today Mirante by Nidec, Clarus 700 by Zeiss, Optos, and the fourth one is Ideon. So a little about these so I am using Mirante, and so it has this wide field thing. So it has the normal color images, the ultra wide field, and it has monochromatic imaging as well, and then this dynamic FA, ICG, and fundus autofluorescence, and then it has a new thing, a retro mode, and then Octa, OCT, and Octa as well. So it has this attachment here, the ultra wide field attachment. So this Mirante with this attachment, it will give 163 degrees in one shot. And if you take a montage, it can give somewhere between 210 to 220, 30. So gives good images, and can go up to the aura as well with a small pupil. So wide field, ultra wide field angiography, and ICG as well. Just to have an idea. So comparison of the 4 ultra wide field which are available. So here in Mirante, it was with a single shot, it was 163 degrees. In Clarus 133, and with montage, they claim it to be more than 200. And Optos has a single shot of 200. So horizontally, it has a more, wider angle, and superiorly and inferiorly, it's a little bit less. you have to make a montage for that. So for the Clarus is this, and the Edon, it has actually, they have an attachment now, and it gives an angle of 120 degrees, and with montage about 200 degrees they claim. A few photographs by Dr. Bavankole, published in various journals. A little about Clarus. So it will, Clarus will give about 133 degree in a single shot. So with montage, above 200 it goes. These are a few photographs. So these are all comparable with a little plus point in one and a little negative in the other. My time is over. Right. This is a case of detachment, case of diabetic retinopathy. So the images are good. A little about the Optos as well.
You finished?
Just another minute.
चलें
Few seconds, in fact.
जो लोड किया वो ना
So Optos gives a wide field,
वो इसका
200 degree in one shot.
सतीश
And with regard to Edon, so as I said, they've put up a lens, and it is about 120 degree in one shot and can go on up till 200. And then we have the red cam for the babies. It covers about 130 degrees or so. That is it. Thank you so much. No, OCT is only central. So about for the Octa is 12 millimeter maximum. Octa is 12 millimeter. OCT angiography. Please.
Thank you, Shishir, for your elaborate talk on fundus viewing systems and how to go about fundus photography. Now I call upon Dr. Suvin Bhattacharya. He'll be talking about video editing, how to edit. You have made a very good video and you want to present it to a conference or something. So how do you go about video editing? Dr. Suvin, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Arun, for this opportunity. Looks like we've got a good audience. Okay, I'm Suvin Bhattacharya. I don't have any financial interest in any software that I'll be showing. A quick question, show of hands. How many of you have edited a video this far? Kakadia Sabto and Ramesh will definitely have edited videos. So I guess, is there anybody who hasn't edited a video as yet? Okay, Tejas. Good. We'll take that on face value. Okay. So, now editing is pretty much like cooking. So you get your ingredients in place, your raw materials, ingredients, put them together, and then you start cooking, and the final product actually takes some time. So These are the basic steps in editing. We have your raw materials, raw video clips, animations, images, audio clips, narration script. Please, please, however fluent a speaker you are, you need a script. I have been editing and speaking for donkey's years, but even now when I give a presentation, I have a written script. If I'm editing a video, I have a written script, because you have to put it within the frames, and it has to come exactly. Next is a project. A project is basically just an interface between your raw materials and your integrated and your output. The project, if you look at the file size, it's a very small file size. It does nothing, it just sources information from here, you process it over here, and you output it and then export it and render it. So, but the project is what which is basically the backbone and does a lot of work. Now, when it comes to editing, that's when you work on the project and you edit it, you add a title, you edit your videos, you do insert animations, edit images, add subtitles, add narration clips, add background music, credits, and then finally export it. Your project is still allows you the versatility to export it in any format that you want. Like Dr. Satish said, you could go to MP4, you could go to WMV, you could go to any format that you choose. Even you could keep it in AVI, but that would be a huge file. So you can choose how you want to go. So the file form, that project is a very important file in your work. So this would be my folder for a particular video that I prepared. It was called It's Time for the Hexagon. Obviously, if I'm speaking, I can't leave BX very far behind. Get some mileage out of this. So this is my raw material. So you see, I have my images. I had Iris Hooks animation images. I had Maluring, Iring, OSS expand animations, 6 Iris, something. Now, if you see these projects, now projects is 2059. My projects also have various versions, because I don't want to lose. I've prepared something, I've done, next I've gone to the second version, and then I feel, no, I need that version of it. I've done some editing over there, so I can always go back. So I just save as the next version. So it's 1 hexagon, 2 hexagon, 3 hexagon, 3 hexagon silent, 4 hexagon, 4 hexagon narration only. So these are various things you can play with. And if you see, the projects is 2059 KBs, 3379, but if you go to the video, actually it's a huge file. Now this is my desktop. Okay, so don't get, this is actually I've captured screen, so this is exactly what my desktop looks. This is, I'm opening my Filmora 9, which I have a lifetime license for. This is one of the easiest platforms to work on. You open Filmora 9, it gives you an option as to select the project aspect ratio. So that is important. We have all moved to 16:9. There's a time when the dinosaurs over here, we used to do 4:3. So now it's 16:9 for all of us. This is my project. I've opened a blank project. So what are the parts of a project? Familiarize yourself with this, and this is exactly what all softwares work. All softwares, this is the standard theme. Where they put one part is different, but basically it has these things. So you have a media panel, you have a player panel, and you have a timeline panel. This is all that is there in all softwares. How you play around with it is up to you, and how you use it is up to you. Now, so what do we have in these? Let's go to the media panel to start with on the left upper screen. I hope you're getting my whole screen. Yeah. So the general taskbar is there, file, edit. That's like any other Word document or something. File, edit, I'll come to each one of them. Tools, view, export, help. Help is very useful. If you're working on a new software, you get a lot of useful information from the help. And actually the YouTube is flooded with videos which teach you very easily how to edit. You can go to the manufacturers, the producers site, and they have excellent tutorials. Then we come to the editing taskbar, which has media, audio, titles, transitions, effects, elements, so on. Media collections. Now this place gets populated only when you draw media from somewhere, from your raw videos, you draw in over there, that's when this gets populated. There could be some like sample videos, sample colors which are already populated. You can draw from that. I'll be showing you practically live editing, rather deferred live editing. Okay, so then you have the preview player. Whatever you are doing on your project, you can play around, do whatever it's shown on your preview screen. So that gives you an idea as to that is generally a lower format than what will be finally produced, because if you keep that, that I'll show you how you do over here. So, but it gives you a good picture of which frame you have kept, which frame you have not kept, which segment clip you have kept, which you have not kept. And your entire timeline, it shows you, as you scroll over it. Now we come to two important things. This is the video track, where my pointer is. The video track and the audio track. Now this is the basic software when you opened it. The video track, there's only a single video track and a single audio track. When you actually finally edit, you'll have 3 video tracks, 2 audio tracks, so that will all be going simultaneously. And finally, when you finish, I'll just show you, this is what my project looked like. It's a 8-minute video, 7:59, and you see my, do I have a pointer over here? Mouse, yeah, okay, fine. You'll have 2 mice over here then. so this is my, all my videos that I use, videos, stills, animations. I have put everything over here. This is my project media. It says project media, and this is what it's working. And you see, I have got 1, 2, 3 video lines, 2 audio lines. And what is that? This is my main video. This has got some stills, some other clips, and some subtitles. See, these T's are titles, subtitles, and this has also got some images. PIPs, I want image on image. I'll have one video line another. Okay, so this is how it works. This is my narration, and you see, my narration is not entire 7 minutes in one go. It's so many clips. I'm playing around with the pause and speak. The pause and speak, you need to have adequate pauses in your narration to let the audience digest what you're saying. And as I speak also, I'm giving you pauses, you will see. I want you to take in, soak in what you have heard, so that you process it. You have to have time to process it. Now, and of course, there is the audio behind. A lot of people use songs. Refrain from using that, that's confusing. Use very low instrumental music and keep that only in the big background to fill in the pauses, to fill in the gaps in your narration. It should not overshadow your narration. When your narration is on, the audio is actually just there in the background, far away. So let's say, now each one of this is a file. Now under file you have a new project, open project, and this is all standard. You see, we'll edit. When we use this, you will see how we work. View, export. So I said you can create video, you can export to device, you can upload to YouTube directly, you can upload to Vimeo, you can burn a DVD, and of course nobody uses a DVD these days. And then you have online help. That button which I showed you on the right upper is your save. So this save is a very, very useful button. Every time you're doing your project, every few seconds or minutes you have to keep hitting save, otherwise your laptop crashes, which happens because your RAM is flooded. So when your RAM is flooded, it just will crash suddenly, and you will lose a project and a lot of work. So make sure you get into the habit. We have all of us who've edited videos have burnt our fingers, and we know that you've worked a lot and then suddenly your thing crashes and you lose that whole project, or it just hangs. You just finished. So like I said, media, thumbnails will show only after we import media over here, okay? And let's see, that's what. So this is sample videos are there. Now, it's already loaded over there. If you want to use those, it's not relevant for us. This is for people YouTubers and stuff like that. And now you have audio. You have audio over here, which is basically, these are again standard songs and music and all, which again we may not use. These are titles which are there. These are relevant, and I'll show you how to use it. Transitions. Now there is a lot of us who use transitions in our PowerPoint, in videos. Tell me, when you saw the last movie, did you ever see a transition? Fading away, grains, blowing out, blowing in. Have you ever seen that in a movie? Why should we use it like fools? It's just cut, frame, go next. It's just cut, straight cut, a dead cut. That's all it is. There is never a transition. Please do not look at this. This is the most useless part of the software. It only has fancy stuff. Effects, again, that you can use if you like. If you want to make up for some parts of your video where you actually have not got a good raw segment, so you can probably use that. A split screen is very useful. You should know, I mean, you can use, if you want to use 2-3 videos at the same time, simultaneously, it is very helpful. Of course, in the PowerPoint, you can have 2 videos, that's a different thing, but when you're doing in a video presentation, this is the player panel. So player panel has play, stop, and 1 frame back, 1 frame front. If you see this is 1 frame back, 1 frame front. This is very useful, and doing a lot of tight editing, it's very useful. You go to this. Now this half is actually your quality of your image on your player panel, and then this allows you to take a screenshot right then, 1 snapshot, okay? And you can save that, and actually if you want to sometimes create space in your narration, you just take a snapshot and put it there, and you get another 5 seconds over there to complete your narration for that. Of course, this is the volume, and this goes to full screen. Now this is where it's undo and redo. Very simple. This is the bin. You can delete, cut, and there are other things. So now we come to here again, this is very useful over here. This is where you can put a marker, but that's not important. Mic. Your mic is over here. So when you're recording your narration, this comes into play. This is something very useful. This allows you to get the entire project. See, your project would be, when I keep 2 video clips or 3 video clips, it goes on to almost, say, half an hour. Okay, now that has to be on my entire project. So you click this button and you get the entire project within your screen. Okay, so you keep playing. But then again, when you want to go frame by frame and go slow, you want to extend that timeline. Okay, make it, so this is what you play with, and you can actually just use this as, you can minimize and maximize in the sense that you can stretch that timeline and shrink that timeline. Okay, at the same time you can, and then we go on to, like I said, you can add an audio track, a video track, add an audio track, you can delete empty tracks, you can adjust track height, you can do, so this thing, I can just drag this up and it'll give me 3 tracks over here, room for 3 tracks. Now this is what is called a playhead. This is what we keep toggling here and there all through our video editing. It just keeps going up and down, and you can use that to cut that clip over there. You can bring it down. So if I want to cut the video clip and leave the audio clip, if I use it generally and cut from here, I'll be cutting both. I could just click on the video over here, sorry. So I could click on the video track and select the video track and just cut the video track, the video clip. I could drag that head down and come to the audio track and select the audio track and cut the audio track or my narration track. So I can play around with that as much as I want. So let's do some video editing, deferred editing, let's say. So I'll be gathering raw video clips. I'll be creating a project and adding video title
Dr.
files.
Suven, 2 minutes.
Yeah, I said.
Because we need to do some discussion.
Okay, we'll do that, right. So let's video run, and you will see as it runs. Okay. So import media files. I'm going to import media files from my raw videos over here, which was taken from my DSLR camera. I've imported a video. I'll save the project now, straight away. So I save it as one. I want to show actually pupil stretch in a partially engaged BX ring, okay? So I just named it as one pupil stretch. I keep that one name because I'm going to go 4 versions eventually, probably, okay? And I save it. So it's now written over here, one pupil stretch, part engaged. Now let's see. Audio on. Audio. Yeah, please. Come on, these guys. बोल के. Audio on है आपका? बेकार कर दिया आपने. बोल के रखा. Audio कब करके रखा आपने? Okay, so we go on, and this has got audio on it, so bear with me some parts. This is my raw video. It's got audio on it. It's recording my over sound. So now what do I do? I want to detach the audio. So I click and I detached the audio and I have deleted that audio. So now my project has become less heavy. Now I see the entire project what all I have recorded. And what I want to show and what I don't want to show, I'm going to add a title file first. So it's very difficult, Arun, to finish in 2 minutes. If you want me to, there's no point in me talking.
We need to give the hall to the other, and we need to take some
That's exactly what I told you, that don't squeeze me in the end like this. It makes no meaning for me to prepare like this. So I can just let it run and you can see. You can have it next year where I'll speak. This makes no sense. It's a waste of my effort. I don't know how much you'll understand, but this is how it is. Because I can't. You want me to close? I'll close it.
No, 1 more minute for you, and then we go for, because then we'll be left with only 5 minutes for discussion. Yeah. I don't know whether they agree to, but it's going to. Okay, I'll. Who? Yeah. Okay. Huh. I'll ask it.
I don't know what you want me to do. No, I don't know if either the chief instructor has to allow me, otherwise I just don't do it. I told you in the I told you in the morning. I told you don't squeeze me in the end.
You don't have to tell me in the morning. You have to tell me when we are submitting the course. Okay, anyway, we'll finish it in time. So you added the titles.
This video shows people stretching in a partially engaged BHEX. Oh, we have, I think, BHEX. So this is my final version, and then we are going to export it over here. I'm adding music. I'm adding music over here, and now I've just got it to the correct. This video shows people stretching. Now I see that the music is very loud, so I just lower the music volume. This video. Audio on, eh? This video shows people stretching in a partially engaged BHEX. Okay. So now we export it, and that's how it goes into export, and then I have my video over here in my. This video shows people stretching in a partially engaged BHEX. Actually, I couldn't show you what I wanted to show, so it's a shame. Thank you.
Yes, please. Questions?
Yeah. You can do, you can reverse it, you can flip, you can vertically reverse, you can do whatever you want.
No, what I'm trying to tell you is that, can we make left to the right, right to the left?
Yes.
Or
yeah.
No? Mirror image.
Horizontally flip, vertically flip, beginning to end, end to beginning, you can do whatever you want.
Without losing the quality? Or
yeah, mostly it doesn't.
Mostly it will.
Play.
Lifetime license for Filmora 9, how much it
was? It was very bad. It was, I think, less than 10,000 bucks when I did it. Okay. That was about 3-4 years back. So I think Filmora 11 is already here. It doesn't allow me to upgrade, but I think this is pretty good actually. So I'm not.
So even if you change the computer, the license stays.
I don't know if I upgrade. They come as offers, but they don't show the value. So if I hit the upgrade, and then I do not purchase or something or whatever, I don't want to go to that situation. They'll trap me. And they give me a high version, and then they say that now every time, so I have a lifetime license, so every time I go to export, they will ask you, you have to be connected to the net, and they will verify your account. So your email and password has to be there.
Okay.
So when you want to export, till such time they'll allow you everything.
So DaVinci is one of the software which is free. The regular version is very much free. Only if you want certain very high-end editing tools which we usually don't need, those are the paid ones, but the DaVinci, they regularly keeps upgrading, and it is free, and it is on the similar UI, the similar background.
So DaVinci I've been using for many years.
Yes.
I think it is too complicated for doctors to use.
Not really. It's almost the same as Filmora, but it's getting used to it. Yeah.
Filmora and iMovie, I think they are looking very similar. I think both are very easy to do.
So what you can do is once you are you uninstall, you install a new DaVinci, and it will ask you which of the formats you are comfortable, whether you are comfortable with FCP or with Filmora or whatever you say. Then it will bring the same interface in front of you. So if you say that I'm more familiar with Filmora, the interface will be of similar to Filmora. And if you say I'm more familiar to Final Cut Pro, so the interface will be more similar to Final Cut Pro.
Yeah, I want to add something. So as ophthalmologists and doctors, we are very ethical people.
Okay,
so there are so many cracked versions available in the grey market. So you can as well download them, and if you need any tips on that, I can provide you all the free advice. I have given one to Dr. Kakadia sir, but he has not been using it.
So we can take the questions outside. We need to empty the hall. Can the presenters, instructors please come over for a photograph?